going into the final chapter of Exodus? Looks like it. Exciting times. Exodus 40. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, On the first day of the first month shalt thou set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and cover the ark with the veil, and thou shalt bring the table, and set it in the order that are to be set in the order upon it. And thou shalt bring it in the candlestick, and light the lamps thereof. And thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging of the door of the tabernacle. And thou shalt set the altar of the burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation. And thou shalt set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and shalt put water therein. And thou shalt set up the court round about, and hang up in the hanging at the court gate. And thou shalt take the anointing oil, and anoint the tabernacle, and all that is therein. And thou shalt hallow it, and all the vessels thereof, and it shall be holy. And thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offerings, and all his vessels, and sanctify the altar, and it shall be an altar most holy. And thou shalt anoint the laver and his foot, and sanctify it. And thou shalt bring Aaron and his sons unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water. And thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. Anoint them, and thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. For the anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generations. Thus did Moses, according to all that the Lord commanded him, so he did. And it came to pass in the first month, in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up. And Moses reared up the tabernacle, and fastened his sockets, and set up the boards thereof, and put the bars thereof, and reared up his pillars. And he spread abroad the tent of the tabernacle, and put the covering of the tent upon it, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he took and put the testimony into the ark, and set up the staves on the ark, and put the mercy seat above the ark. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle, and set up the veil of covering, and covered the ark of testimony, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the table in the tent of the congregation upon the side of the tabernacle northward, and without veil. And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the candlestick in the tent of the congregation over against the table on the side of the tabernacle southward. And he lighted the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he put the gold altar in the tent of the congregation before the veil. And he burned the sweet incenses thereon, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he set up the hanging door at the door of the, and he set up the hanging at the door of the tabernacle. And he put the altar of the burnt offering by the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and offered upon it the burnt offering and the meat offering, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put the water there to wash withal. And Moses and Aaron and his sons washed their hands and their feet thereat, when they went into the tent of the congregation. And when they came near unto the altar, they washed, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he reared up the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the hanging of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Then A cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was upon it by night, in the sight of all the houses of Israel throughout all their journeys. Wow. Exodus 40 is the grand cinematic finale of the entire book. The theoretical drafting and the grueling collection campaign, the intense metal forging, and the high fashion weaving are completely finished. Now it's the deployment day. Notice the calendar timestamps dropped in verse 2. God commanded Moses to set up the tabernacle on the first day of the month. This is exactly 1 year after their midnight escape from Egypt on the night of the original Passover. In precisely 365 days, Israel has transformed from a chaotic mob of newly liberated slaves into a highly disciplined, structurally organized, sanctuary-bearing nation. The chapter layout breaks into two clean halves: the formal assembly and consecration of the compound, and the sudden, spectacular inhabitation of the divine presence. Moses acts as the solo director of operations for the deployment day. He personally lifts, positions, and locks the modular pieces into their final coordinates. As you read, follow the deliberate inside-out spatial progression as Moses transitions through the boundary lines. Step 1, the Holy of Holies. Moses erects the gold walls and silver sockets he carries into the Ark of the Testimony and hangs the heavy inner veil to seal the room. Step 2, the holy place. He sets up the outer room. He aligns the table of showbread on the north side, arrays the menorah on the south side, lights the lamps, and he places the gold incense altar right before the veil and burns the sweet perfumes. Step 3, the door. He hangs the colorful curtain screen for the front entrance of the golden tent. Step 4, the courtyard. Moving outside, he places the bronze altar right in front of the door and immediately executes a burnt offering. He positions the bronze laver between the altar and the tent, filling it with pure water so he and Aaron can wash. Step 5, the perimeter. He hangs the final white linen fence post around the courtyard and sets up the eastern gate. Verse 33 locks the ultimate project milestone. So Moses finished the work. The moment human alignment with the heavy blueprint hits 100%, the spiritual atmosphere violently shifts. The smoking peak of Mount Sinai goes completely quiet. The cosmic presence of the congregation, the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, and Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. The manifestation of Yahweh settles over the tent with such a blinding, heavy radioactive density that even Moses the mediator, with the glowing face who spent 40 days inside the fire, is physically blocked from stepping through the front door. The building is fully occupied. The book closes by detailing the navigational system for the wilderness march. For the rest of their history, the tabernacle functions as the national GPS. Whenever the cloud lifted from the tent, the Levites disassembled the fortress and the camp marched forward. If the cloud stayed put, millions of refugees stayed in their tents. The cloud guarded them by day, and at night it turned into a pillar of fire, burning in the sight of the entire house of Israel throughout all their journey. The cloud of glory did not descend when the people had good intentions or when they built almost all the tabernacle. It arrived exclusively when the final loop was fastened and the last socket was placed. As the Lord commanded Moses, this teaches that God fills what he designs. If he wants his power and manifests presence to inhabit, this teaches that God fills what he designs. If we want his power and manifest his presence to inhabit our lives and ministries, we must build our lives according to his uncompromised structural patterns. Semantic arch that the book of Exodus. It began in chapter 1 with the outcry of agony coming from the dark brick kilns of the Egyptian slavery. It ends in chapter 40 with a shout of worship under a canopy of heavenly fire in the free desert sand. God did not rescue them out of bondage. He brought them into a relationship. The ultimate goal of redemption was not geographic relocation to a better country. It was divine habitation, God living right in the dirt with his people. The closing verse teaches us about absolute submission to divine timing. Israel could not freelance their itinerary, plan ahead on a calendar, or force a destination. They had to learn to be vulnerable. They had to learn the vulnerable discipline of looking at the center of the camp every single morning to see if the cloud was moving. The true spiritual maturity requires surrendering our personal timelines to the training and training our eye to move only when the presence moves, and to contentedly stay put when the presence rests. All right. Wow. We've watched a nation go from iron chains to a golden sanctuary. Wow. That's pretty cool.